What up again, nerds? Not like I didn't just put a video out, but we're back again for another December World Building Challenge. Now, I was supposed to do day one yesterday, but I'm a slacker, so I did it today, which is when I'm supposed to do day two. So instead of pushing it off one and one and one, we're gonna do day two today as well. And I guess December 31st we can just chill. I actually had to think about the whole weekends thing because it's not something I had planned out. Like that's I don't know. That's one of those niche things where you just don't think about very heavily. I'm still very glad that they did it though, because boom. Let's get this my ugly face out of the way here. You know what? We're actually just gonna put this up here and roll with it. All right. So what we have here, I had to like get this out of my head so that I could there we go, think of a way to do it, right? So, I had to kind of like map my world out a little bit. And here is what we are looking at. A couple different zones, provinces, countries, states, whatever you want to call them, right? Here's the way I think I want to roll with it. Two different continents, similar to World of Warcraft, where you got Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms. Um, so yeah, that's that. This is going to be like the main continent. Um, because the goal here is to start like a single player RPG and then you can branch off to like a MMO. So the MMO, would introduce the second continent, but for the single player thing, focus right here. Main continent, name, TBD, all that. Here's what we're looking at. You got like a very kind of icy type deal up here, right? It's cold all the time. They're by the water. Maybe you got some frozen water out here. Polar bears and frozen sharks. I'll write that down. That's a good idea. Frozen sharks, or sharks that are like adept to, adapted to like the cold. I don't know. I love sharks. So yeah. Then you got these are gonna be the sailor folk, the fishermen folk. They live a hard, rough life. Think like the Greyjoys from the Iron Islands in Game of Thrones, like real poor conditions, surrounded by water. Now, these people actually make a decent living because they are going to be the main source of whatchamacallit. Uh, we're going to color these guys gray for the Greyjoys. Yeah, they do pretty well because they are actually the main, I don't know, like import people. So I figure you could put like a port over here, a port over here for the ice people, and that's kind of how these guys get like all their supplies. I don't know where they're coming from yet. We'll figure that out later. I got an itch in my ear, but I'm wearing my headphones, so we'll just act like that's not happening. Over here, in the largest single province, we have oh, that's why that works. Like, don't play the same song over and over again. So this is going to be like the royal family, the main place where everything goes on. I don't know. I'm thinking like color design. They wear like black and white armor. I really like the idea. I've been getting a lot into Star Wars, a lot more into Star Wars lately, and the Empire is so devoid of color. You got black and white stormtroopers. You got Darth Vader in pretty much all black. You got Tie fighters are black. You got the Death Star that's gray. They're in this black of space. There's like no color, and it's super intimidating. I really like that. Maybe they have like a special forces that wears like a special red or something. That would be pretty cool. Anywho, so that is what they'll do there. This is like a very progressive city. Large castles, uh, what they think is cutting edge technology. Um, and, educated. They kind of, I don't want to say they look down on others, but their deal is, they're up there, right? I haven't decided if like I want them to be, territorial and try to take stuff over, or if they're just kind of chilling over there, or what. But that's the people up north-ish, and then down here we have a jungle and a desert on both sides of it. So I'm thinking like desert people, think like Dorne from Game of Thrones. Lots of sand, very warm, rough conditions. Maybe some Egyptian influences, or I don't know. I don't know that many desert places. I'll have to do some research into it. It's a desert. It speaks for itself, right? Uh, Now, there's also a jungle in the middle of that desert. Now, this jungle is one of my favorite parts. Think like Wakanda, right? It's a jungle. It's in the middle. Nobody really goes into it and comes back out okay. Um, there's a indigenous people there who are very secluded, don't talk too much, but they have access to, I don't know, technology that was left over from the gods that we talked about previously. And they keep that shit secret though. They're very unassuming. So the way this little thing works down here, this is kind of where I was going about the royalty, maybe being territorial and taking stuff over. I was thinking like they kind of have like a symbiotic relationship. So you have the desert people are protecting the jungle people, because while the jungle people do have great technology, they don't have a large population, not large enough to defend like the whole jungle by themselves. So they kind of work together like that. Now, what do the desert people get for helping out the jungle people? Well, jungle is full of resources. So here's where this kind of comes into play. I had to do all this before I could get into like what they do on weekends and stuff, just because that's how my brain works. So I thought it would be cool to go over kind of each one and what they're going to be doing here. Now, the icy people up here, they are going to be big competitors, right? I would love to have like a card game inside of this game. I know that sounds a little crazy, but like Gwent in The Witcher, and kind of like a football inspired card game. Not so much with an actual football, but you get 4 tries to like get down the board or something, and you have different tokens that you can play, and maybe you can win these tokens or purchase, I don't know, mix of like Pokemon and Clash of Clans or some shit. I'll figure it out later. But maybe they're like big into that stuff. Maybe they have their own kind of physical sporting, or they ride animals. I don't know. They're competitive people. That's kind of what they spend one of their weekend days doing, is drinking, meeting. Think Vikings, very Viking-esque. I like that. The sailors really think this is a cool kind of deal here. So what is all this blue crap, Derek? Well, that's water, right? I know this is a beautiful piece of art. But the sailor guys are surrounded by water. So they are going to, pray to the god of the sea, or whoever their god is. Haven't gotten that far yet. Every Saturday, Sunday, one of the weekend days, because they're almost, like swallowed up by the water. You got it on the backside. They're a peninsula, so kind of like Florida. So they will be like, maybe they're very like, what's the word I'm looking for? They're all a bunch of degenerates, is what I'm saying. And they were really bad. Their land got swallowed up by the water almost, but it was stopped for a reason, and now they, take a day out of their week to pray and, beg them not to get swallowed in the ocean or something. So their religion's going to play a heavy impact there, which I think will be fun. Royalty, like I said, they kind of think they're better than everybody else, so that is why we have the education. Definitely want to use the pen tool there, my bad. That is why we have education for them. So while they are going to be working hard and they have like the traditional school set, on weekends, they're all going to, close down everything. Life in the royal kingdom stops on one of these weekend days, and everybody takes the time to self-reflect and educate and kind of, I guess, improve themselves. Are really, mentally anyways. They're not going to go out and lift weights or anything. This is kind of why I'm like conflicted. I don't want to make them bad per se. I don't know. It would be nice to just do away with the whole bad, I'm going to take over the world trope. They can be educational and smart, and maybe that's just why they want to get more land. I don't know. Maybe through all their education they find out about the guys down here and their technology. And that's why these guys have to protect them. Anyways, so yeah, they'll do some self-work and all that stuff. I should probably do some more of that too. And then the desert and the jungle people, I didn't want to touch on it quite yet. So they are going to come together. So once a week, maybe on the weekends, they are going to kind of have like a shindig going on. They'll get together, hang out, have some fun. You know, nothing major. Um, but this is kind of where like the exchange of goods will go, and you know that's when they'll get their water and they'll get their resources, and yeah, the jungle people will help them, maybe throw them a feast or something. It's just fun. So that would be really cool too. I think they have like a one-time thing. This area in the middle is no man's land. I think what I want to do here is have like I think I touched on the last one, but I really like the idea of so in Game of Thrones they have what's called a King's Road, right? So Game of Thrones map looks more like that, right? It's just kind of a shape like that. And then you got Winterfell up here, Iron Islands over here, King's Landing, Dorne, the Eyrie is over there. And then they have the King's Road, which goes all, like almost down the whole continent, which I think is so cool. But I didn't want to straight up copy them, so you gotta do it subtly. So you know, maybe you get something. Obviously, it starts in royalty. Sure, maybe it hits the ice people too. Maybe over here in the desert. I don't know, but there's gonna be some kind of road or something there, and some small villages here and there that'll be dependent on these kingdoms and all that. So. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at there for the weekends. And then I was trying to think of like what, so the other continent is where we'll have the patron saints, and those gods kind of like falling all over the place, and the cities that were resurrected around them, or erected around them. Whoa, you can't say that in YouTube. But yeah, so I think that's what I want to do there. I'm just not sure what their culture is going to be outside of being connected to the different classes. That's something I'll have to work on more, but this is really what I wanted to get established first. So yeah, now that I got that off my brain, what is tomorrow? Because it sucked having to do this like right away. So tomorrow is technology. Sweet. I got some stuff for this. Alright, so I'll do a little bit of research on technology tonight, and then we will kind of go from there. What the fuck is a bazaar? That's like when you burn something in, right? I'm gonna have to look up some of these. The poor. I'm so excited for this shit. Alright, now yeah, so tomorrow we'll focus on technology. It is 9:30 on the East Coast. I am going to maybe play some video games. Maybe go to bed, who knows. Anyways, guys, appreciate you watching if you made it this far. If not, I hate you and I'm never going to talk to you again.